identify a problem that your business is going to solve. So you sort of have to match the quality of work you're producing with how much you think is worth. You don't have to like it because you're not your customer. Your customer has to like you because you're going to be the one consuming your products. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel this week. My name is Priscilla. I am a women's wear designer based in London. In this video, I'm going to be answering some of your questions that you guys asked on the community page as well as on Facebook. These questions are really related to what it takes to start a business in fashion and being a creative, a woman in fashion, like across the board. So if you guys would like to hear the questions as well as my answer, make sure to keep on watching. Okay, so starting with the questions on the community page, the first one here is from Shirley Lee, and she asks, is it hard and is it costly to start a business? Yes, and yes. I have days when I'm like, man, why did I even sign up for this? Because it's something that you are kind of starting something new, and that is already terrifying enough. And another thing that is scary about it is it going to succeed? Are you going to do well? Are you going to make profit? Because I feel like starting a business is the easiest part. Running a successful business that is sustainable is actually really challenging and very difficult. So yes, it is hard, it is expensive to start a business. The next question is from Janet Okondru. I hope I said that right. And the question goes like this. Thank you, ma. Please, I just started and I sew from home. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. People underprice my work. How do I really overcome this challenge of underpricing my garments simply because I'm trying to build a customer base? That's actually a really good question, and I went through this myself personally. I remember when I just started, because I started from when I was in uni, so I started really early on, and I remember the very first person who told me to sew a dress for her, and I told her the price, and she was like, oh, that's really expensive, you never have a client base if you're going to charge people that much. And it really got to me, because you're trying to find clients, you're trying to make money, you're trying to build a business, so you want to please people, but at the same time you don't want to underprice yourself. Because believe it or not, when it comes to design, it is craft, it is talent, it is time. So you have to value what you can do, but at the same time you want to be able to get customers. So the question I would ask Janet, I believe that's her name, Janet, is, are you going into this business long term? Like, do you plan to do this for 10, 20, 50 years? Or is this something you're just doing for the time being? Because that would really help you answer some of the questions that you would be faced with. Because if from the onset you give people really cheap prices, like say 5,000 naira for a dress, I don't know if that's expensive, but let's just work with that. If you give someone, okay, it's 5k to make a ashwebi dress, just know for the next few months, anybody that comes through that 5,000 naira customer, you would have to charge a similar price, because their referral came from, oh, this is how much she charges and this is the quality of work she does. So you sort of have to match the quality of work you're producing with how much you think is worth. I say find out what other tailors are charging, what other designers are charging, your area, your state, because it's different from state to state. Designers in Lagos will charge you more than designers in another state, and then you have to sort of decide on a price that is fair for you, fair for the customer, and especially if you're doing this long term, would not make you run at a loss. The technique I talked about in one of my previous videos was to count the hours to take you to make the dress and then decide how much an hour of your time is worth. If you think an hour of your time is worth 500 naira, you can work with that. If you think it's worth 1k, you can work with that. If you think it's worth £5, you can work with that. So this is a thing that you really have to answer yourself. And if you don't get a customer because your price is too high, auntie, the world did not stop revolving. I didn't get a customer for the longest time because I knew where I wanted my business to, where I envisioned my business to be. So I knew the price point I had to, the range I had to charge to be able to make enough money to be able to sustain the business. So you might not get customers all the time because people might complain your prices is too high, but that's okay. Believe me, there'll be somebody who can afford that £200 dress that you know you would make to £200 standard. So All right, so moving on to the next question. This is from Anuli Didi. God, I'll just write the name on the screen. I know I cannot pronounce this name right, so let's not even try. And the question goes like so. Hi Kim, first of all, I love your videos. I have really learned so much from them. I just discovered you about a month ago and my sewing game has really changed. My major issue is sizing. Like for example, how do I know what the actual bust, waist, hip of a size 10 person is? I checked online, but I noticed that different fashion houses have their own size charts. Is there a universal size chart that I can use? What do you recommend, please? Thank you so much for doing this. Yes, there is a standard sort of chart that if you Google, you find online. You might find 2 to 3 different types that would have different measurements, but find 3 to 5 of these charts, then get the average of the different measurements and work with that. Worst case scenario is you might have to do extra fittings on your customer, on your client, so it fits their body even like nicely. I'm a size 10, but when I have to buy trousers, sometimes I have to buy a size 12 because I have really full thighs, really full hips and full bums. So everybody's body is kind of shaped differently. So I would not say I'm a true 10, but I wear size 10 clothing. So I believe if you search online, find a few charts, get an average of the measurements and sort of work with that. The next question is from Mfo Tandy, and the question goes like so. Hi Kim, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. My question is, when you have other daytime responsibilities, how do you manage your workload to get your orders completed on time? Thank you so much, man. That, like, seriously, I think something that really works is planning ahead. You can create a weekly, sort of like a weekly chat, and the hours across the day you plan activities into that, so you know by next week that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you can take care of, I don't know, fulfilling people's customers' orders, and then Thursday, Friday you know it's for your family, Saturday, Sunday you know is for yourself. So when you plan ahead using these weekly charts, you can use Excel. There are many apps out there that you can use to help plan your time. It just makes your life so much easier. So I'm getting a lot of questions related to the best sewing machine for a beginner, and I've already addressed this in, I think, at least one previous Q&A session I've done. I'll link it somewhere on the screen and in the description box down below, so if you ask that question you can go watch that video so you know what my answer was. More question from this same person, and the continuation is, I also want to know how to start a fashion business and how I can meet the standard of my target customers. So a business essentially is the exchange of goods or services for monetary value. That's like the most common definition that just comes to my head right now. So I think the most clever way to actually start a fashion business is to identify a problem that your business is going to solve. So what issue, what problem, what area of specialty are you going to focus on? Or are you just going to be a general seamstress or a general designer who does freelance work? You sort of have to decide what aspect of fashion, what problem, and then build a business from there. Find a problem that you know your business is going to address, and believe me, if there is a problem, there'll be people who want solution to that problem, and those people are going to become your customers. And then you have to go on and do proper customer research and then develop a prototype product, do test trading to see how much people are willing to pay for it. There's just so much that goes into building a business that I did not even know until I left school and I started reading books, going for classes, and really learning that starting a business is a lot harder than people perceive it to be. So my dear, you have to be prepared physically, intellectually, and do plenty of research before you go ahead and start a business. Next question is from Zainab Avsari. I'm really sorry if I said your name wrong. And she says, my question is, how do you know what your target customer wants? How do you know their styles and preferences? I think this still boils down to doing a proper customer research, because if you know who your target customer is, you would know what they like, you would know what they prefer, and you would know what their lifestyle is and what their style is, and that would help you to design clothes, to make collections that would please them. You don't have to like it because you're not your customer. Your customer has to like you because you're going to be the one consuming your products. So I had spoken about customer profile in my fashion business tips, which was the first video I did about the fashion business and addressing the whole business side of fashion. I'm going to link that video as well up in the screen because I really broke down in detail what a customer profile is, what needs to be in a customer profile, and I think that would help you so much when it comes to sort of figuring out the style and preferences of your customer. Green tea, so good. Now moving on to Facebook, I have 2 questions from there, and the first one is from Adeyemo Adesewa. Oh god, I'm so sorry. Morning, ma. I'm starting up a fashion business aside capital. What are the things needed in setting it up? A huge chunk of the worries about starting a business is taken care of, because when you have money to start the business, you have money to buy machines, you have money to hire staff, to rent a space, and so on. But you also need to have a plan of how you're going to spend that capital, which is your business plan. So having a business plan is really important because it breaks down every aspect of the business. So in terms of who your customer would be, how you plan on marketing your products, where you plan to sell your products, how long could it take you to make profits. There are all these subsections that a business plan has and would help you spend your money in a more clever way, because it really would help you, it really would show you, oh, you need to think about this, you need to think about that. Are you going to develop more products in the future? Are you going to be hiring staff? Are you going to be doing this alone? Is this a limited company? So I think it's also important to decide what level you want your business to sit on. Are you going to be fast fashion? Are you going to be designer? Are you going to be high fashion? Are you going to be couture? So when you decide on the market level of your business, there are certain things that you have to do. So a good example is if you decide that you want to become a luxury brand, you know the branding of your business needs to feel more expensive, more tasteful, so it appeals to people who like luxury stuff. Your fabrics don't necessarily have to be expensive, but they have to look and feel expensive. Your marketing has to be more high class. So just things like that you really have to put in mind and put in place once you decide the level you want your business to sit on in terms of sort of market level. The next question from Facebook is from Jumai, and this person asked, good morning, how can I be successful in fashion business, ma? It takes a lot. It takes a whole lot. It takes a lot of hard work, smart work, patience, and prayer. I say prayer because I believe this life is a whole lot more than we see, a whole lot more than we touch, and a whole lot more than we experience. I believe in the spiritual. I'm a Christian, and so that part of my life I always think is really important. Committing all of your plans and all of your thoughts and deliberations to God to guide them is really important, because like I said, starting a business is the easiest part. Running a successful business is where it becomes challenging and scary. And it's so easy to quit because you might get to a point where you're losing money, or where you're not making enough money, or where you're at a standstill and you're like, this is not even worth it. I'm just going to quit and go work for someone else and know I'm getting steady income at the end of the month. Trends are changing, seasons are changing. You have to be able to adapt your business to go with the flow, but not lose yourself, not lose your brand identity along the way. So I think those are all of the questions. There are really some very thoughtful questions in there that made me really reflect on myself, on my brand, and on my small but thankfully growing business. And I hope you guys enjoyed these answers. If there's a question that you think you have a really nice answer to, feel free to comment down below. I'm always open to learning, because since I left uni, I think information has become so valuable to me, because there is so much that you can gain and so much that you can save yourself from losing just by knowing the right information. So please share all of your questions, suggestions, and thoughts down below. And until my next video, keep being creative, guys. Stay positive and have a good morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are. Bye.